Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with a little transfer talk show. I thought I would jump on and talk about, is it silly season that started again with a crazy rumor that is surrounding Aston Villa tonight, Wednesday night as we record, and also maybe just to touch on at the opposite end of the spectrum with a young player who is wanted allegedly by every club around the world, every top club around the world, and Aston Villa seem to be winning the race to sign him. So we're going to delve right into that. Before we do, please do smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. We're literally 6 or 7 away from 5,500 subscribers. So you guys can help us get there and beyond. We're on the road to 6K. So help us hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get your comments and your thoughts on these potential signings coming into Aston Villa. Now, still gutted about Tuesday night's game against Manchester City, but look, having a bit of perspective on it, it was 5 wins in a row. Yes, the circumstances, a last-minute goal, the tactics probably were a little bit wrong. The substitutions didn't flow with the game. We've talked over that. Check out my match reaction for my thoughts on that. But we move on. We've got a big game on Saturday, FA Cup semi-final. We win that. We pretty much guarantee Europa League football with the way that the other teams that are set to get to the FA Cup final are positioned in the league. And then we give ourselves a real good chance in the remaining 4 games in the Premier League to clinch Champions League football. And we've still got a good opportunity. So let's get on to these transfers. So today it was reported, Wednesday, as we were recording this, that Aston Villa are apparently interested in Manchester City legend, superstar, you name it, one of the best players to grace the Premier League, Kevin De Bruyne, 33 years of age. And I mean, what is there to be said about Kevin De Bruyne? Absolute wonderful, wonderful footballer. He is set to leave Manchester City at the end of this season. He's already announced it. And he hasn't said that he won't sign for a Premier League club, although there are numerous clubs interested in him right across the MLS, in Saudi, in Italy. I think Como are interested in him. And I am pretty sure that every club, I mean, he could probably move to Spain. He could probably move to other clubs in Italy. He could probably move back to the Bundesliga and obviously stay in the Premier League. And reported by Sky Sports sort of Manchester reporter Melissa Reddy, apparently senior reporter at Sky, and she said that Aston Villa have held internal discussions, whatever that means, about signing or discussions of signing Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I don't know whether she was involved in these meetings, whether she's got a contact in the camp, whether she has, Monchi is on the line to her or whatever, but she's obviously heard something somewhere, or is creating a story from somewhere that Aston Villa are the club that are apparently potentially interested in signing him. Now, obviously, it would be an exciting move if it was to happen. It would be an absolutely wonderful move. He can still offer a lot in terms of his ability, obviously in terms of his experience, in terms of his know-how. Everything about his game would be absolutely fantastic. I guess from a wages perspective, it would have to be heavily, heavily managed. I don't know how we would do that. And what would that mean with the likes of Marco Asensio at the club, Marcus Rashford at the club? How would we balance that up? It would be absolutely crazy. So would there be a big marquee signing like a Marcus Rashford, a Marco Asensio, or a Kevin De Bruyne? Because you cannot see 3 or even 2 of those signings happening at all. So what would it mean for the likelihood of signing those 2 players? And I'm still very, very much on the fence with regards to signing Asensio and or Marcus Rashford. as good as Marcus Rashford is now playing, he's now adding goals to his game with Aston Villa, and he's having an impact. Obviously, the PSG at home, he was absolutely phenomenal. And he looks dangerous in every game he plays, particularly away from home. If we can get more bodies around him, I think he can be really useful. And Marco Asensio's kind of gone off the boil a little bit, although he was excellent, in parts against Newcastle. We kind of forget that with how thick and fast the games are coming. You kind of forget the performance that these players have put in maybe a game or two previously, and you just concentrate on the current game that's just been. And he didn't quite get into the pace of the game against Manchester City, which is potentially understandable, but you forget some of the performances that he's had before. But he kind of needs maybe to get back running with goals or assists and kind of really clinch an FA Cup or a Champions League spot for us, and that would go a long way to him signing. But Kevin De Bruyne, I just can't see that happening in any way, shape or form if we were to sign any of those two players. Let's have a quick look at his stats for this season in terms of his suffer score stats, because he has had an injury hit season this season, and I would imagine anyone who signs him would have to manage his minutes. We know where he can play. He's still got a really high rating for the season for the games that he's played. So he started 16 games, 24 appearances in total, 3 goals. So maybe would want a few more goals. But look, this is someone who is an absolute world class player. 7 assists, 14 big chances created still. And you think about the quality of pass, the quickness of pass. The players that would be playing off him: Morgan Rogers, Jacob Ramsey, Ollie Watkins potentially, even Marcus Rashford or someone like that. If we were to sign him, I mean, the stats just speak for themselves. The number of big chances he creates, the influence he has on games, the goals he can score, the key goals he can score as well. Just an absolutely phenomenal player. And even if he was around for 20 games a season, it would still be absolutely incredible. So that could be an option. Now, has the reporter Melissa Reddy got sort of a connection with the fact that he's plays for Belgium? So we've obviously got Onana, we've got Yuri Tillemans already in the squad. We've got a big Belgian connection there. Is she putting 2 and 2 together and getting 25? So that's something whereby could be thinking on that same level. So that's something to consider. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it absolute pie in the sky for Kevin De Bruyne? Or is it, if we clinch Champions League football, is it a potential option? Would he relish working under someone like Unai Emery? Is it inconceivable that Aston Villa could sign someone like Kevin De Bruyne even for a year or 2-year contract? We've signed Marco Asensio on a loan. We've signed Marcus Rashford on a loan. Is it out of the ordinary to be shopping for these type of players? How does Aston Villa rank now as a club across European football? Let me know your thoughts. Now, on the opposite end of the scale, we are apparently at the front of the queue to sign Rosenborg and Norwegian wonderkid Sverre Nypan, 18 years of age, and apparently he has been wanted by pretty much every club across the globe. Not just in Europe, but Arsenal have been interested in him. Girona were interested in him. Aston Villa were interested in him. I think Manchester City maybe are interested in him. And he's currently at Rosenborg over in Norway, has represented Norway right from under 15 level through to under 21s level, and has played for Rosenborg since 2022, appearing in their league 56 times and scored 14 goals, and he's still only 18 years of age. So yes, it's not the best standard of football, although it is very much improving. He has already featured numerous times and is one of the main players in that team. And as I say, every club is interested in signing him. Now, if you have a look at his SofaScore stats, I'm looking at this from sort of 2024 because their season is just starting right now, and he's appeared 3 times and already scored once. A central midfielder, his market value is just under 11 million euros according to SofaScore. Operates in central midfield, but off the left. Okay, 28 games played last season, 25 starts, 8 goals. So he was a goal-scoring midfielder. Missed 8 big chances as well. 6 goals with his right foot, so cuts in from that left-hand side on his right foot. 1 with his left, 1 with his head. 7 assists, 7 big chances created. Now, in 2024, he was obviously only 17 years of age, so that makes it even more impressive. and 78% in terms of accurate passes, 87% in his own half, 71% still in the opposition half, 4 ball recoveries, 1.9 tackles per game, 57% in terms of successful dribbles, 57% in terms of ground duels won. So he's clearly a very, very talented boy, clearly too good for the level that he's playing at in that league. And that is why every club, as I say, has been interested in signing him and probably had every scout out to Norway to watch him playing for Rosenborg. So we've looking like we've made the initial ground in signing him. With this, I think he's very, very impressed with what Villa had to offer, the presentation that Unai Emery presented to him. Monchi was out watching him against Vålerenga, I think, the other day, and he met with his parents, and by all accounts, they're all very, very interested in the projects that all these players talk about at the various clubs. And I think personal terms are now being discussed, and Ornstein's reported it, Romano's reported it. So hopefully we can announce that pretty soon. Now, what happens with him, I don't know. Does he come into the first team squad and start to challenge for a place? Or would we send him out on loan for a year or two, a la Barrenechea, and then sort of see how he gets on? I guess we'd have to see what happens in pre-season, but it's really exciting to see us signing these types of players. We signed the Turkish centre-back, Özcan, who's really, really highly rated. We've obviously done the same with Nedeljkovic, who hasn't quite worked out, wasn't quite what Unai Emery wanted, but has done well at Leipzig, and we can probably make a real profit on him if they were to sign him. Barrenechea has done really well at Valencia, and I believe Atletico Madrid might be interested in him now, so we can make big money on him. So there's this setup in terms of signing players from across Europe that are of an age where they've played first team football. There might be a diamond in there to polish and to play for the first team and increase the value even more, or there might be the option to send them out on loan. They play well on loan and we can sell them to invest more, or for PSR reasons or FFP reasons to make profit. So it's a really effective business model and business strategy, albeit also to potentially benefit the first team. So this player, I do think they're probably looking at, getting involved with the first team from a long-term perspective, because they wouldn't have gone to all the lengths of signing him. So it's an exciting one, really exciting one. And as I say, two ends of the spectrum, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful player coming to the end of his career. Could that be a potential signing for Aston Villa? And then you've got Nypan, who is at the start of his career, promising, has huge, huge, huge potential. And think of that, a player like him learning from a player like Kevin De Bruyne, that would be absolutely wonderful, a wonderful experience for him. So could that happen? Could you see it happen? Or is it totally, totally pie in the sky and silly season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be back with match preview tomorrow, Thursday night, of the FA Cup semi-final. And most of us are going to be at the game from the Villa Park pod, so we might even do a bit of a match reaction special live on location from somewhere in Wembley. And if you do see us, say hello as well. And we might be doing a couple of special shows from Wembley after the semi-final. Hopefully a successful result, and we'll be talking about FA Cup finals, but we've got to get past Crystal Palace first. So stay tuned to the channel, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help us on the road to 6,000 subscribers. Get your comments and your thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne or Sverre Nypan. What do you think? Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.